my next step. I'm moving forward.
Thank you so much for continuing to join us for Nearing the Next Step, the show where we explore and examine the challenges and triumphs of moving forward in the attainment of your dreams. I'm Brian Martin, your host, and we're back with our guests, Janita McGuigan and Savonda Latrice. I've really enjoyed the first episode in which we had them, and we're going to dive a little deeper and go behind the scenes again to figure out what we can expect as we move forward and go further in pursuit of our passion. So, Savonda, you pointed out that Janita had some great news. And as her business mentor, you've really been walking her through this process. So there's some good news to share. Janita, what is this good news?
As of June 1st, 2021, I went from Hugs to Hugs Inc., Helping Us Gain Strength Incorporated. I'm now registered with the state of North Carolina as a nonprofit organization with the help of Savonda.
That is awesome. So let's take a snapshot, shall we? How does it feel to have completed that step of the process, Janita?
It feels great. It boosted my confidence, just making me want to continue to go forward with the next step, which is the next big announcement that's coming up. In the next few days, we're going to be putting an application in so that I can become 501c3 registered with the state of North Carolina. So,
wow. So Janita, I want to pivot to Savonda to ask a question, but you just said something that really got me thinking, and that is, so you contemplated taking your first step, and that took however long it took. But am I mistaken, or am I accurate in seeing that the next step, which is gaining that 501c3 status, is happening a lot quicker in relation to getting the incorporation status than it took you to actually start from a place of wanting to do something to actually doing it?
My confidence was boosted. I was ready to move forward, and I was gung-ho. And, a couple of days went past and I was gung-ho. A week went past, and yeah, I'm still gung-ho. 2 weeks, I'm gung-ho. 2.5 weeks, so I kind of got stuck. So, having Savonda connect with me, it was definitely a godsend, because she kept me on my toes. She's like, we're going to get through this together. This is what you have to do for next week. This is what I want you to do during the week. Find out this information, and we're going to go from here. So the accountability is what helped me as far as getting to the next step, because I needed that accountability. I needed somebody to be like, okay, what you doing? Where we at, where we going? So I'm thankful that she stayed on me, and she kept me encouraged throughout the process. And things are just moving a lot smoother and a lot faster because, she's definitely in my corner pushing me.
An accountability partner is invaluable. It's someone that really kind of helps you continue moving forward, as you had already vocalized that you wanted to do this. And since we're all, familiar with church, we're all Christians, and we know that there are so many life principles in the Bible, this really illustrates to me the words that are found in the book of Ecclesiastes, where it says that two are better than one. For if one falls, there's another to help him up. But look out to that person that's alone when he falls, because he's jacked. I'm sure that's not the King James Version, but that's pretty much what it said. You're jacked. So get yourself an accountability partner. But I want to pivot back over to Savonda, because we've taken a snapshot of Janita, how she felt really getting past that first hurdle. Savonda, how did it feel helping someone get past their first hurdle?
Can I do it like this? Woohoo! Yes. She did it. And that's how I felt. I mean, y'all already know I get so excited about everything. And that's really how I felt. I really just wanted to run around the building, scream, yes, another person has successfully got their business up and running, started, super excited. I mean, when Janita sent me the email, and most of my clients, when they get their paperwork, because again, it's all sent to them, they normally email me their incorporation papers and like say, look, this is what happened. I'm so excited. And so just being seeing them excited, I get excited. And again, if I didn't say that, congratulations, Janita. You did a wonderful job and working hand in hand. She said it, Brian, about that accountability partner. So even me holding her accountable, she held me accountable too, because we had to get it done. So working hand in hand, it was awesome. It made me feel so good. And hugs, when she first said it, she said it, I went from hugs to Hugs Incorporated. And so that's an awesome blessing. And I got to say, glory be to God.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, the beauty of this is that there is the power of accountability. It's the idea that someone is walking with you. So thank you, Savonda. Congratulations, Janita. And before we go to our break, I just want to point out something that's really interesting. We saw that Savonda really celebrated this triumph in Janita's life. You can go to a lot of accountability partners. You can go to a lot of business mentors. I would suggest to you that you go to Savonda Latrice for the setup, because when you have someone who's going to celebrate like that, when you have made it past your first hurdle and the succeeding hurdles, you want that person in your corner. So definitely look for Savonda's information, contact her so that you can be the next person that enjoys the setup. Let's go to our break.
Hi, my name is Wendy Wallace, and I have a question for you. Are you ready for your next opportunity? Whether it is your career or business goals, Wallace Career Coaching uses a holistic approach to assist and consult you on your career or business venture. I bring over 15 years of corporate, nonprofit, state, and government agency experience and am confident that I can support your individual career or business needs. Wallace Career Coaching was just launched in August of 2020, and in just 5 short months, just 5 months, I have had the honor of serving almost 60 clients who have landed jobs that have helped them achieve their career and personal goals. I believe that with the right resources, everyone has the ability to reach their potential. Services that I provide include professional resumes and cover letters that land you the interview preparation, compensation negotiation strategies, LinkedIn profile design and edits, career mapping. This is where we would create actionable goals that you can achieve in a short amount of time. I also provide new business plan development as a service because I know that there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there just like me. I also provide virtual workshops in customer service, project management, time management, business operations, and group career coaching. If you need someone to help you reach your career or business goals, I'm your person. This girl right here. Check out my website at www.wallaceconsulting.com. Again, the website is www.wallaceconsulting.com. Be empowered to reach your potential. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in again to Nearing the Next Step. We are having a great time with our guests, Janita McGuigan and Savonda Latrice. We're talking about going further beyond that first step, what that next step and that next step actually look like. And I've really enjoyed the interaction because Janita just announced that she went from just hugs to Hugs Incorporated. That is great news. And we could tell from Savonda's reaction that everyone can rejoice when one rejoices. So we're really enjoying this, and we want to get into this next question. We want to find out from Janita, now that you've kind of crossed that first hurdle, and you said that really within weeks, you're going to actually have applied for this 501c3 certification, and that way you'll be eligible for grants and things of that nature. So if that is coming up, let me ask you this. What challenge do you currently face, right? Like what challenge is looming on that horizon? And how has your attitude, now that you've crossed your first hurdle, how has your attitude toward this impending challenge changed with time?
I guess the next challenge would just be getting my 501c3. And as you stated, it'll help me to be able to get grants and funding so that I can be able to do things such as maybe purchase a van, or even have renting a building to hold things for the girls when we start having meetings and things of that nature. That to me, I guess, is the biggest challenge. The next challenge would be, I would say, just rounding girls up, because a lot of people are protective of their girls and things like that. So having people entrust me with their children, I think that'll probably be the next challenge for me. I have 3 girls, and so you have to be comfortable with allowing people to have your children, because you don't know what they're imparting into them. So I would think the next challenge for me after getting my 501c would be having people entrust me with their children, just to know that, you know, I'm going to be giving them the correct information, and it's going to be something that's going to be beneficial for them in the long run.
That sounds, you know, like a challenge. Do you feel like you're more confident with being able to meet that challenge?
I feel like I'm confident because I'm really passionate about girls, and a lot of young girls like me, like even my kids' friends, they'll be like, they would always want to come to our house, and they would kind of be like drawn to me in a sense. And my girls would just be like, well, why do you like her? You know, because I'm just their mom. But they would come to me and they would talk to me. So I feel like it could be a challenge maybe with the parent, but maybe not with the child, because once you get in there and you start talking with kids, and they realize that you're relatable and you're reachable, I think it'll be okay at that point.
So just an interesting principle. And I may have said this before. I know I've said it in other videos that I've done, but the idea is that everything that has happened is preparation for everything that will. I understand, Janita, that you work extensively with youth in your church. Do you feel like that uniquely qualifies you to be able to gain the trust of mothers and to bond with their daughters in an effective way?
I think it gives me experience. I don't think it necessarily qualifies me, because you can do something all day, but if you're not passionate about it and kind of exude it, people kind of catch on to that type of thing. So I think it just makes me experienced. And in the fact that to work with girls and just to kind of know how they are. I mean, I am a girl. And just thinking about back to when I was younger and how I felt, you know, as a young teen mom growing up. I wanted my mom to be there more. No hit on her, because she was, you know, taking care of the family. But I know how it is to have a mom that loves you and takes care of you by working and providing for you, and not necessarily able to, you know, give you that one-on-one girl time that you need.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that insight. And that's so incredible, because, you know, really, we look at our past experiences and we may interpret them in different ways. But I think it's really important what you said, that even though you may have experience in something, don't take it for granted that that necessarily qualifies you. And I really love that idea, because it really kicks back against pride, which can be very harmful to anyone that's trying to move forward. Never think that you have it all. And so that's really interesting that you've maintained this humility, which is absolutely essential to long-lasting success in life. So thank you for that, Janita. I want to pivot over to Savanda, because although we've heard a little bit about Savanda in our episodes, there's so much more that we can learn about Savanda and from Savanda. And so, Savanda, I know you've mentioned that you have, opened a variety of different businesses, that you still face fear from time to time. Your confidence is what gets you through those moments. You celebrate the triumphs of your clients, which is absolutely breathtaking to see. But I also understand that you haven't been exactly forthcoming with us. I had to do some digging, but I found out that you are actually an accomplished author. Is there something you want to tell us about that?
Sure, I'll be happy to. There's just so many hats that I wear. So today I was just trying to just keep on, at least one. But I am a self-published author since December 24, 2014, actually. And we talk about fear, y'all. We talk about fear. I actually started writing my first book back in 2009, and didn't have all the resources. Again, I can just go back and forth like where Janita was. Didn't have all the resources that I need at the time, but I took the step. I took the step in writing, and I write it, and then life happened. I stopped. Life happened again. I started back. Life happened again. I stopped writing. So finally, in March 2014, I picked back up writing. And I said, now I am going to publish this book. And I can remember being scared, March 2014, picking up where I left off from 2009. Family members had passed away, friends had passed away. And I said, you know what? I really need to get this first book done. And so doing that, I started writing, and I put the book back down after a couple months of writing, March 2014. Well, I can tell you, December came around, and God literally said to me, if you don't publish this book this year, you're not going to publish any books. So when he said that to me, you know what I did? I got to writing. I got to figure it out, how I was going to self-publish, how I was going to get that book out there. And on December the 24th, I published my first book, Virtuous Women, Single But Not Alone. And from that, taking that step, the next year, I published another book. And that same year, I published another book. And now I have published 8 books from 2014. And my last book I published was last year. I published that June 30th, 2020. And it was called The Fornicating Preacher, The Naked Truth. And so if I did not take, if I had not taken that first step to publish, when God said publish, I would be not an author today. I wouldn't be the writer that I am today. And because I took that step, I became a writing fool. And it led into other things. And it led into me helping other people become a self-published author, because I took that step. And so I'm grateful that I've helped many people publish their books. And again, I always celebrate them, and I'm so excited about that, Brian. And so again, I did it scared, but I did it.
And there's such beauty in the retelling of that story, Savanda, because really you illustrate again the need for accountability. And so essentially what you've said is our Father himself communicated to you, listen, you got to get on it, right? And I think that that's really important, because when he tells you that, or when you have an accountability partner that's saying, look, we can't afford to waste any more time, we can't afford to delay any longer, it really gets us moving in the right direction. So it's really just a powerful testimony of the fact that essentially we just have to move forward. And I know people may be watching this and they may be saying, but you don't understand, you don't seem to get that my situation is not Janita's situation, or my situation is not Savanda's situation. Well, I would caution that perhaps you need to look at it another way. And that way is this, that when Savanda published that first book, just like reproduction in general, it created opportunities for another book. When Janita took the step to begin her process, resources became available, and it leads to the next step. And so we see in life that when we begin upon the path, things are going to replicate. Opportunity begets opportunity. And while we want to start in the boardroom, many of us really have to begin in the mailroom. And the idea is that those experiences lend, as Janita so eloquently put it, to the confidence that we need to continue moving forward. So I truly just want to thank Janita and Savanda for the opportunity to really dive a little deeper into what it takes, like the mental aspect of all of this. Because while you're smiling on the outside, and while you might be vocalizing to someone what your dream is, inside, there's a battle going on. But the important thing is, Nelson Mandela said, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. And what we're celebrating today is Janita's triumph over fear. What we're celebrating today is Savanda's continued triumph over fear. And so what I want to ask of these two very experienced individuals in different ways, I want to ask you this question. What advice would you give to those contemplating their dream? And let's start with Janita. What advice would you give to someone who's contemplating taking the steps to move in the direction of their dream?
Well, the first thing I would suggest them to do is to first start talking about it. You'd be surprised when you start telling people what you want to do, how you have something in common with them. Kind of like the show, all I did was tell you about what I wanted to do. And then Savanda, oh, I can help her, or, whoever, you come in contact with, tell them what you want to do. Or, if anybody asks, hey, what do you want to do? Or tell them, this is what I'm interested in doing. I've had conversations with friends and realized that we actually want to do the same thing. So, I'm taking my steps, and so I'll be able to help her in the future, as far as taking her steps concerning something similar to what I'm doing. So talk about it. Like you said earlier, have that accountability partner. First, I would say pray about it. Just because you have an idea doesn't mean that it's something that you're supposed to do. Make sure it's something that you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about it, then you'll pick it up and you drop it. And the third thing that I would say to do is, Savanda had said something to me, and it really resonated with me. She said, never stop walking, do it scared. So even after we're done doing what we're doing and she helps me through my steps, I'm going to have to keep walking. So whatever little steps that I need to continue to go where I'm going in the direction that I'm going, I'm going to need to keep on trucking and do whatever it is scared.
So you have heard it here. Fear should not be a deterrent from taking your first or next step. Thank you so much, Janita. Savanda, what advice would you give to those who are contemplating taking their first or next step toward fulfilling their dream?
Well, I think Janita, she answered it perfectly. Just go ahead and take that step, because you never know what's going to be out there. As Janita said, rehearse it in the ears of others. I always find someone that is in my corner or a friend. I was like, what do you think of this? No matter how crazy you think the idea is, just go ahead and talk about it, because again, that person may have that one piece to the puzzle that you need in order to get started. So the key is, go ahead and get started. Go ahead and talk about it. Go ahead and be about it. And as Nike will say, just do it.
I can't support the use of Nike's statement on this show, but Savanda makes a great point. You just have to go out there and get it done. Swoosh. So the idea behind all of this is that really, the world is waiting on you. Janita said it best: pray, seek clarity, get an accountability partner, and move forward, do it scared. Savanda really sums it up and just says, you know what? At the end of the day, the thing that you were supposed to do at the beginning of the day is what you're going to need to do anyway. So there's no getting past the fact that you have to do it. And the beauty of this is what you will discover is on your way toward taking that first step or that next step, resources that you could not see from your couch will make themselves available. I always say this to those who are more of a Christian influence: the miracle will not find your mailbox. You have to go and grab it. So I just want to say thank you to Janita and Savanda for being the guests on this episode of Nearing the Next Step. And if you are so interested in being a guest on the show, feel free to contact me. That information will be made available. And if you're looking to get started, I definitely suggest that you contact Savanda Latrice for you to get to be a part of the setup. Remember, it's all waiting on you. So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Nearing the Next Step.
I'm going to take my next step. Gonna take my next step. Yeah, gonna take